Welcome to pattern making class. I'm Annette Julie, and today we are going to learn how to add some pleats to the bottom of a basic shirt sleeve. So here you see a lot of tools that you can use for pattern making. Don't worry if you don't have all of them, you don't need them all. Here's some pattern making weights. If you have those at home, that's awesome. If not, use some little cans. Hopefully you can get your hands on some type of curve ruler, some tape, some paper scissors, not fabric, and a tape measure, and a pencil. Most people don't have a pattern making awl or a notcher at home. Don't worry about that. You're going to need a ruler like this straight edge ruler I have here, or the 2x18 clear plastic ruler. This is really my preference. So here's all your tools for pattern making. You're also going to need your pattern making paper. And if you're going to follow along in the demo, you need your basic shirt sleeve without pleats, and we're going to put the pleats in. Let's move our tools aside and we'll get started. So here's our basic shirt sleeve, and we've added to the side seams for fullness and to the bicep line for fullness, and we've dropped the cap down so it's a little bit of a more squat cap and wider bicep. But down here at the wrist is where we need to concern ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and measure what the wrist opening is right now, and we're going to record it. So you take your clear plastic ruler and put it right up against that edge there and measure that curved line, what looks like it's right around 11 inches. Okay, so if I come and I measure my hand here at that widest part, putting a shirt on and off, this is more like 8.5. But I don't want my cuff to fall off. I want to have a smaller cuff that sits on my wrist, so it's looking more like maybe 8 or even 7.5 inches for my cuff and what the width of the sleeve is. So I could be 7.5 to 8 inches for my cuff. Let's go ahead and reduce a bit of this sleeve. Now first off, one option is to just leave it exactly the way that it is and us shear the bottom. So from here to here, we're going to shear that, and from here all the way along to the other side, we're going to shear that as well. So if this is 11 inches, we need to shear this down to what I would want my cuff to be, which would be around like 8 inches. Okay, so this part here, that is about 2 3/4. Okay, which leaves this at about 8 1/4. So we want to take this down by approximately 3 inches. So this part here that is 2 3/4, 2 3/4, we're going to shear to 2 inches. So look at, it's minus 3/4. All right. Now this part over here, which is more like 8 1/4, we're going to shear to, we've taken off our 3/4 and we've got to take off 2 more inches. So we're going to shear this to 6 1/4 inch. So that is minus 2 inches. That is one option to handle the fullness for the sleeve. The other option is to put some little pleats in here. So forward of our slit line, because here's our slit, you're going to go forward at least 1 inch, and I'm going to make little 1/2 inch pleats. And I take this in, and this is minus 1/2 inch. Okay, let's space this apart by maybe 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to make another one. And this would be minus 1/2 inch. I would also minus the side seam 1/2 inch. On both side seams, we would take off 1 inch and then 1 inch, and we would ease the rest in. This would be turning into a little pleat. And there we have the pleats. So now you have 2 options with your sleeve. You can either shear this in 2 sections, or you can put 2 pleats forward of the slit, and then we can work this into a cuff. I'm Annette Julie, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we design a cuff to go with this sleeve.